Nice. All right. All right. How's everybody doing today? Everybody good? Happy Tuesday. It's a beautiful day. So we have a guest this morning, like the email said last night. If you're in house, Corey brought some breakfast for you. Jimmy, I need a microphone, please. I'm gonna need a microphone for Corey. You will need to talk into the mic, and with that, you'll probably have to keep. It's more of a shotgun directional, so you'll have to keep it closer to the mouth. All right, so let's go back in here, make sure we're not missing anybody. Everybody's in. So tell us who you are, what you do, and how you can help us and how we can help you.
Okay, so my name is Corey Combs. I'm the owner of South Shore Roofing and Exteriors. I've been serving Tampa for about 25 years in the construction industry. So I've been here in Tampa my entire life. Saw what happened 2005, 2006, was a part of that. And now we've got something really crazy going on again in real estate and the housing market, except we have material shortages, which is just, as mentioned earlier, definitely atypical, never seen this before. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, so we've put together a program specifically for real estate agents.
What was the cause for you guys deciding to put together a program, or basically like a dedicated line for agents? What caused the need for that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I actually have a slide that talks a little bit about that. So my brother's a broker. He's a real estate agent, and he started in real estate about the same time I started in construction. What we used to do is he would call me in when he had an issue that came up from home inspections, things like that. And I would go in there and we would take care of it. 28 years ago, it was easier for us to just make the repairs without all the documentation and without all the things that the lenders were looking for, all that stuff. So recently, since the housing market's been so crazy, we've been getting a lot of calls from realtors through Google. And they've never done business with us. They don't have a roofing partner. They don't have, anybody that they can rely on. So they're just looking for Google. The problem with hiring any roofing contractors, we all know, they're super unreliable. If they were reliable, they usually fall off the face of the earth when they start to get busy. And so we have like 5 or 6 realtors that we work with quite a bit. Repairs, inspections, things that you guys deal with, challenges that you deal with, and especially now that homeowners insurance has become such a big deal with the roofs. I don't know if anybody wants to talk about what's going on, if you know what's going on and why this has happened, but in short, because a lot of these roofing contractors figured out they could come to the state of Florida and file insurance claims for past wind damage, they come in and they release 10, 15, 20 sales guys in neighborhoods. They go around, they knock on doors, and they encourage homeowners for free inspections. What they do now, these are 100% commission-based salespeople, so they have a financial incentive to quote unquote find damage so they get the sale. You understand what I'm saying? What also has been allowed to happen is litigation from attorneys. It's kind of like, if anybody remembers how the sinkhole situation was, probably about 2002, 2003, where these contractors, they would come in and they would, look at quote unquote sinkhole damage for the house. So what happened was homeowners insurance, they started making exclusions for these things. So now you don't get the same coverage on sinkhole damage that you used to. That's what's happening with roofing right now, because the litigation has been so great, even for baseless claims, because these attorneys know homeowners insurance companies, it's cheaper for them to just settle the claim, $17,000. We're dealing with the same issue now. Because of that, homeowners companies have decided they're going to reduce the useful life of asphalt shingle roofs. Some of them are down to 5 years now, believe it or not. Yep.
We've talked briefly about this before, but just understand, if an insurance company is paying out too many claims, guess what? They are no longer going to be in. business.
That's right.
So what they're doing is saying, okay, well, how can we get out of business in Florida without getting out of business? Well, we'll just say we won't write a policy on anything that's a roof that's more than 5 years old. Protects their best interest. Yep. People who have policies that live in their home that have had the same carrier for 10 years, 15 years, the roof becomes 15 years old, you get a notification, we're dropping you. There's no option to renew. There's no, I'll put a new roof on renew. You got to do it and go back and hope that they'll take you back. And the rate is going to be so inflated, even with a brand new roof, you're going to be paying $400 to $700 more per year. So, a way for them to get out of business in Florida is we say 30. Yep. Most of them are 10 years or older now. Most of them have gone to 10 years or older. And if it's more than 15 years or older, it will, the only policy they'll give you is a renovation policy that has to be completed within 30 days of you closing. Most. You still get some carriers. You're going to pay a premium for it. But most of them right now, roof that's 10 years or older, it's going to require, you'll get a policy on it. But if it's 15 years or older, you get a policy, but it'll have to be replaced within 30 to 60 days of closing on the property.
Yep.
Crazy. So just consider that when you're putting a property on the market that's got a 15, 18, 20-year-old roof, especially depending on the shingle it is.
Yeah. So that's a great segue into how we can help you with that. Okay. So we understand that's going on. We get calls all the time. I just got a call yesterday from a realtor in Mirror Bay. Buyers keep passing on the house because the roof is 15 years old. They don't want to deal with it. And they're, the buyers keep passing on it. So the seller's going to have to put a new roof on in order to get what he wants out of the house. So how we can help you? Well, a couple different ways. One, they talked about material shortages in the meeting earlier with the home builders and things like that. It's bad. I mean, it's bad and it's getting worse. Okay. So like the lady from D.R. Horton said, the only way to protect ourselves as contractors is planning. So making sure that we order materials before we need them, making sure that we're financially solvent so we can pay for those materials ahead of time to make sure we have them available for customers. So that's what we do. We work with our suppliers. We buy materials before we need them. We have them on order. We have them on allocation. So if somebody calls us and says, we need a roof next week, okay, great. You have 4 colors to choose from, but we can do it for you, right? We've bought materials that are a little bit more budget friendly, let's say. I mean, I get it. You have somebody that's selling their house. They figure out that they have to put a new roof on. Okay, the roof's 15 years old. You're upset. The seller's upset. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money because it's going to take away from my bottom line, right? That's just the reality of it. So we have some packages available. I'm not going to lie to you. You're not going to get a huge warranty. We have the best warranty in Tampa Bay. I'll tell you that right. We do a 12-year workmanship warranty, which nobody does. Okay. And we give you a 25-year roof warranty, meaning all your products are guaranteed for 25 years.
Real quick, one of the only reason that he's still standing here, Susie sent me an email and said, hey, he stopped in. So he's doing a sales job as the owner of the company saying, I want to bring value to more people. Can I come in? But then Susie sent me the info and I looked at it and I've seen South Shore Roofing mentioned on Facebook posts over and over and over and over and over and over again, with people recommending them, having nothing but great things to say about him. So based on what the public perception is of the company and what I've seen and been able to read and find about the company, and the fact that he's out there saying, I want to bring value to you, here's what we're doing for agents, being able to provide warranties like that, answer the phone and do that. That's one of the reasons that he's standing up here, because his business preceded him, his reputation preceded him before. And we don't just bring everybody in here to be able to talk to the group. So it's a testament to the business that he's been doing and a reputation that he has.
I appreciate that, Chris. I do. We try very hard. We have over 100 5-star reviews. We have 0 complaints against us. That doesn't mean things don't happen. It's construction. Things happen. It is what it is. But it's how we handle it. It's how we handle our customers, how we set the right expectations. They talked about you guys setting the right expectation with buyers. We do the same thing. We let people know exactly what we're in for. We document everything. All our conversations, all our emails, color selections, photos, everything's documented. Okay. So I want to bring value to you guys, special pricing for you. on roofing packages for your sellers when they have to replace them. Okay. I'm still not going to be the cheapest. I can tell you that right now. Okay. But you will not have any problems with us at all. We'll build when we say we're going to build. The job will be done. We'll have no problems with inspections. Everything will be documented, and you guys will know that everything was handled absolutely professionally the way you need to be handled, and you're not going to have any problems. Okay, that's what we bring to the table. We're never going to be the cheapest. I'll just tell you that right now.
Are you the cheapest? Are you guys the cheapest?
You
No.
get it.
Are you the most cost effective? In the end, a lot of times, yes. We charge more, but we end up being more cost effective in the end because of our service, because of how much money we'll put in your pocket, because of the value we provide. Same scenario. They may not be the cheapest, but you know what you're going to get.
Value. It's about value, right? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Mhm. Yep. Okay. Yes. So
For people online, the question was, inspection was done, noted that there's inspector implied it's an easy fix, things that could be really simple to fix. Is that something that you also can do? So the answer is yes. So he's not just saying we need to put a new roof on. If you need a simple repair, these are things that he can do. Notice what he said. His brother's in the business. He noted a need, and he's trying to fill that need and provide more value for that service. That's an excellent proposition for somebody that's thinking outside of the box and thinking ahead like that.
So we do roof replacements, obviously, but what we also bring to the table for you guys. Let's say you have an inspection item that comes up, the buyer's home inspection, which we just had this happen again in Mirror Bay. Horrible repair done about a year ago. Roof leaked for that entire year. The buyers had an inspection. Really, really dangerous problem. We were able to get in there the next day to take it all apart, fix it the way it needs to be fixed. And like I said, we document everything. So we'll have all the pictures. We'll have an inspection report that we did with a narrative on what the repair was, how it was done, and that way they can give it to the buyer, awesome. The buyer's agent, and whomever else needs to see it to know that those were remedied before they proceed with the closing. So that's sort of our proposition. So your transactions don't get derailed because of these inspections. To answer your question, so the 4-point is, it goes over the electric, plumbing, HVAC, and roof. Okay, so sort of the main components of the house, right? They really don't do structural, which I don't, yeah, but whatever. So if you have an item on one of those 4 areas, it needs to be remedied before you'll be able to close. The big one now is the plumbing and the roof are the two big ones that are sort of holding things up. Can't help with the plumbing. I'm sorry. I can give you a number, to a guy that you trust, but I can't help you with that. But the roofing stuff, the structural stuff, any of that stuff we can help with. State licensed GC, state licensed roofing contractor, I am. And so we can help with that stuff. So if there's an inspection item on any of those things, we'll get in there quickly. We'll take care of it. We will document 100% what the repair is. So we take before pictures, during and after, and you'll have a narrative of what was done so that you can pass that along to whomever needs to see it and move on from that and get it handled quickly.
Awesome.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Question is, will you do a payment at closing for repairs or replacement?
So the short answer is yes. I'm going to charge a premium because I'm acting as the bank. I'm financing your money, so I'm going to charge a premium on that. So
and you You also heard that he's going out of his way to make sure that he's prepared for whatever happens, and he's buying a lot more material up front, especially if pricing is better pricing, better value, better materials. Let's get them now and paying for them up front. So he's actually financing your project that you need in 3 months. He's starting to finance it 3 months earlier than that, in a way, before he ever gets his money back. So typically, anybody that does a payment at closing, there will be a premium. That's just the short of it. If it's a $10,000 roof, you're probably going to pay between 11 and 12. That's the reality of it. If you don't have the money, that's the only way you get it done. You pay the price that you need to pay to get the job done.
So, with that, I have a couple realtors that I work with. They're a little bit newer. It's very competitive. I mean, you guys know that. And a lot of times, what people are doing is they're whacking the commission, the listing percentage, or they're trying to, so they can become competitive. What they're doing is they've put together a listing package that includes pre-listing inspections that they'll take care of for the seller. Meaning they'll bring us in as part of their value proposition to look at the house, make sure things are good structurally, make sure they're not going to fail a 4-point, make sure the roof is okay. If there's anything that's going to be an issue when the inspection comes along, then we'll let the seller know about that and a rough idea of what it's going to cost. And then you guys can game plan the cost value of getting that stuff done or negotiating with a buyer. So you have more information to negotiate before you get the inspection from the buyer and say, oh my God, I'm already on my heels. How do we handle this? Now you've sort of lost a little bit of an advantage. As the listing agent, you have that information, you have more of an advantage. And it's a value proposition to make you a little bit more attractive when you go in to do your listing presentation. I'm sure right now people are just, it's not as, it's not as hard to go through and get listings. I'm sure it's pretty easy now, but
nope. 10 times as hard.
Sorry about that.
10 times. It's just, but that I really want you all to see that. Somebody who's not in the real estate business has a family member in it, and his perception is it's easy to get a list. So he automatically thinks, well, it's easy to get a listing. No offense at all.
Yeah.
But this is just perception. The people who aren't in the business, that's what they think. We're actually working 5-10 times as hard to get listings, and then we're working 5 to 10 times as hard when we get the listing to go through all these things and to keep the buyer confidence. For the buyer who's paying $50,000 over the list price, you're doing 10 times more to get the listing, get it under contract, going through reviewing all the offers, and then keeping the buyer confidence through the entire process, because that buyer is paying so much more. You have to go above and beyond by using trusted partners and having the value to be able to provide to them, to show them where that value is and keep that confidence up. So it's important to note that is the perception right now. We're doing 10 times the work and they're asking us to cut our commissions by 33%.
Yeah, so I guess that's a great point. At that point, so bringing more value to the table.
Yeah.
Making sure that your customer has a great experience all the way through, making sure that there aren't any hiccups during the closing, making sure that, I guess, to that point, bringing somebody in like us, even though it's going to cost you a little bit of money on the front end, it's actually going to help you throughout the transaction to make sure you don't get
absolutely
caught with something you have to handle on the fly.
Absolutely.
Right. There is. So we charge $350 for that pre-inspection. But again, we give you a full photo report with the narrative, with, whatever the action items are, whatever the cost is going to be roughly, again,
So your pre-inspection, I know the actual name of your company is South Shore Roofing and Contractors?
Exteriors.
South Shore Roofing and Exteriors.
Yep.
So what else are you inspecting? Just the roof, the exterior of the building? Like, what would that inspection entail if you're going to have somebody have you come out and do that?
So my guys know what to look for on the 4 points. So they'll know if the water heater is bad, which is a big one. They'll know how to look at what type of plumbing it is, which is a big one. They'll know how to essentially look at an AC. They're not going to give you an in-depth on these things, but they're going to say, hey, these might be an issue. Structurally, roof, windows, all that stuff, absolutely.
Awesome.
We'll be able to give you sort of the age, what the cost is, all that stuff. You guys are big on training. I see that. I'm the same way. My guys are very, very well trained. We do training every week, every Friday. I do not subcontract anything.
Good.
Okay. My guys are my guys. I want them well trained. I want them to know exactly what to do, how to do it. I want to make sure we have consistency, and I want to make sure we have quality. I don't subcontract on any of my roofing crews. I don't do any of that. Okay. They all work for me, or they've been trained by me. We have project processes and procedures that they follow for absolutely everything. So you guys will know that when you get somebody from South Shore, they're going to be quality, they're going to be well trained, and you don't have to worry about, any issues.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
I know, because you'll probably get a lot of questions or calls about this, about the roof replacement prior to closing, paying at closing.
Yep.
What's your typical process for that? Because I know it's typically not, we'll put a roof on it, then you list it and sell it. It's usually you put the home on the market it with a new roof. We'll probably put the roof on about a week to 2 weeks prior to closing around this. So we know that once you have a contract and we know it's going to close, we'll do that. Is that your typical process?
Yep. There's a rider that's going to be on the contract from us. We're going to have to notify the title agent so that we know we're on the closing statement. We want to see a copy of that, just to make sure. Because it's a real catch-22 for us. We can't do a notice of commencement, and we can't lien the property because that's going to screw up the title. So what we have to do is we have to try to protect ourselves. I've had it happen a couple times where we've went through to closing. We built the roof, the deal fell apart, and we weren't able to collect our money. It's happened. I mean, it does happen, right? So now I'm out $15,000. So I'm going to immediately lien the house so that the next time there's a contract or anything on the house, I'm going to get paid before they can close.
Yep.
Okay. So just know if the deal falls apart, there's going to be a lien on the house immediately.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
So, Joe, go ahead, sir.
We do. I don't think Hillsborough County is doing PACE right now. Yeah, I think they've stopped. For now. Sarasota, Manatee does some PACE. Pasco does some PACE. If anybody's not familiar with PACE, essentially what PACE is it's a tax lien on the house, basically. So what this company will do is they're allowed to, certain improvements they're allowed to put on as taxable improvements. So they'll pay for the improvements, they'll pay us as the contractor, and then there'll be a tax lien on the property. That's essentially what it is. Roofing, windows, HVAC, anything that has to do with energy efficiency, they'll allow those. We don't do a whole lot of it. There's a lot of good products out right now for homeowners, unsecured products for home improvements. I mean, they can get 2 years same as cash. They can get a 10-year with a decent interest rate. So there's really no reason to put on a 20-year tax lien on the house. So a lot of people are opting to use PACE. They're using just some conventional, easier products now.
Good. Do you want to where we can scroll?
Which, by the way, we offer. We have a ton of financing. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we'll scroll through the slides here since you have
pretty much covered everything.
And we'll just make sure we don't miss anything. And if anybody else has any questions, we talked about this. Local. You said 25 years in the construction industry, so he's got the pedigree there.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Ahead,
the other thing I want to talk about too that is huge, okay, is we are fully insured. Okay, you would be surprised how many contractors here do not have the right insurance. It's crazy. I mean, so when we go and we talk to a homeowner, we let them know to go on the state websites, check licensing, and check their workers' comp and their general liability insurance, because most of them, there's probably about 90% of them don't have workers' comp. You can actually get what's called an exemption certificate, and they use that to register with all the building departments, and they don't actually have workers' comp. So a lot of times they have unlicensed, uninsured guys on the property, which is a huge liability for you guys and a huge liability for the homeowner as well. So that's a big thing that you guys need to understand is when you hire some of these budget contractors, if something goes sideways, it can be a real problem if they don't have the right insurance.
Yep. So deal's going off the rails. So his promise to you is they'll get out there quick. They'll remedy the issue. If you have someone that needs a roof, give them a call. They'll get out there quick. They'll get you a quote. You'll know what you're getting into. They'll do pre-inspections of your property, exteriors, windows, doors, roof, fascia, soffits, things like that. They'll take a look at the 4 points and give you an overall basic assessment of if there potentially will be an issue there, if you want that, if you need a service like that. So they'll keep your deal on track. If you need minor repairs, they will do those. Obviously, it's more profitable for them to do a whole roof. That's just the reality of it. But they will do small repairs, medium repairs, big repairs, full replacements. They'll help you out with that. Home inspections, delays, we talked about those. Real estate's challenging. I think it's one really big thing, like you talked about, is buyer confidence, man. Keeping that buyer confidence there, however you can, getting a pre-loved inspection, getting a roofer to come out to give you an inspection on that, knowing what you're getting into. That buyer's paying so much more than the appraised value sometimes. And what happens when they find out they can't get insurance on their 13-year-old roof? They're going to lose confidence, and you're going to have some issues, especially if there was already an issue with the appraisal, already an issue during the home inspection, already now an issue with their lending, already an issue with the insurance. Keeping that buyer confidence is key right now. So we got basically a highly skilled partner here. Benefits to you. I think one of the big things he talked about was clear reports, narrative, photos. This was repaired. This was done. How many times have you gotten a basic invoice that they went to the dollar store and bought an invoice book and wrote out, replace wood, fix $300, slap some new shingles on, thank you. This full, nice, professional report, photos, narrative, and everything, that's a huge thing and a key thing, especially for a buyer, especially if you have things done prior to a contract. Put it into a book, put it with the disclosure, and let them know that everything's been done.
I don't want to I'm sorry to interrupt you, but how many times have you had, you're listing a house, the buyer comes in, they have a home inspector comes in, makes a huge issue out of nothing. how many times has that happened, right? Yep. The buyer gets scared. Right.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you, roofers are just like home inspectors. There's some good ones, and there's a lot of not so good ones. Okay. I've been dealing with this for a while. So what we'll do is, if you call us to come in, if it's an issue, we'll fix it. But if it's not an issue, again, we will create a detailed report, a narrative of why it's not an issue or what's actually going on. My licensing, my general contractor's license, my certified roofing license, trumps a home inspector's license all day long.
Yep.
Okay. So just so you guys know. Yep.
I've said that a million times.
Yep. So we can refute what they say if it's not an issue. So that's another bit of value we can bring to the table. Okay.
Yep. Perfect. Also, what else we got clearing? And that's the last one that's on there. Please do. You said you get special pricing available to CENTURY21.
So if you guys continue to call us in for pre-listing inspections, typically we charge $400. We'll charge you guys $300. Okay, and we'll come in. We'll do that. Again, we'll give you a full report, narrative, whatever you need, and just a basic idea of cost of what these things are going to fix. Cost to fix. For the roofing, we give you guys special pricing. If they're paying cash or financing, that we're going to get paid immediately. If not, we're going to charge our regular retail rate, and there's going to be a premium on it. Again, because we're taking a lot of risk. Okay, I've had them go south a few times, and it's not great. When you put a roof on somebody's house, they owe you $16,000.
It's not great when you close on a contract.
My guys and I still have to pay all that stuff, right?
It's not nice when you close on a contract and they don't want to pay you the commission.
There you go. Right.
Okay.
Right. You knocked it out of the park for them, but they're like, let's negotiate a little, right?
Yep.
Not great.
What would that? I know every roof is different, but what kind of pricing would we be looking at for special pricing for a full re-roof? And just idea wise of what kind of benefit that they would have.
Okay, so there's a long answer to that.
Yeah, I know it's tough. I hate asking that, but at the same time, just so we can at least give a seller a little bit of you know, a little bit upfront.
So we're going to filter that into two categories. Okay. If we're just going budget, right? You have a seller says, look, I just want to replace it as cheap as I possibly can and move on. I'm going to pay cash, you know, whatever. We have some products that we use. They're good products. Okay. They don't have the warranties that you're going to get with some of the other products. And I'm not going to warranty the roof past 5 years. Okay. So because I have to make sure that, again, they have a good roof and all that stuff. So I'm going to warranty it for 5 years. That's going to be a little bit cheaper. So we're going to be somewhere around $290 to $300 a square to put that roof on for you. Okay, so that means if a typical roof here is probably, I would say 30 square. So you're going to be around $9 grand, 95 for a typical roof like you see in, I would say, 1,800 square feet. Something like that. Architectural. Now, what I've seen people do is put on a better roof with a better warranty to transfer to the buyer for that buyer confidence. They can charge a little bit more for it because they're going to get a roof that's going to be guaranteed for 25 years. Okay. So there's value to that.
Yeah.
So it just depends on where you are in your buying cycle. If you've, you know, if the buyer's tried to get insured, they can't. Seller's just trying to do as cheap as possible. We're going to put it on an inexpensive.
Is there any warranty for a new buyer with the first option of a cheaper roof? Is there anything that transfers to the new buyer?
They're going to get a 5-year warranty.
Okay.
Yep. They're going to get a 5-year warranty. It's still got my name on it. So I'm not going to, you know, I don't want to have, you know, any type of bad blood with anybody that I deal with. So we're always going to warranty. My guys put on the same product all the time. They're very well trained. I'm not worried about it. Honestly, it's more about what happens if we have to facilitate those warranties, because there's some cost of that as a company. So covering a roof for 12 years is a little bit different for us than covering a roof for 5 years. Okay, so we do everything. We do tile, we do TPO, we do shingle, we do metal, we do everything. I cover all of Tampa, Pasco County, Bradenton, Sarasota, West Chase, Wesley Chaplain. We go all the way up.
Yep, anywhere.
I try to stop right around Newport Richey. I don't go there unless I have to. You guys get it? Okay. Okay.
Right there with you.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Does anybody have any other questions for Corey? Well, Corey, what's the best way to get in touch with you? And what's the best way to
here? I have some flyers here, basically a summation of the program for you guys.
Okay.
The other thing too, if your buyer just needs a rough idea of how much it's going to cost, you can go on our website. We have a Get Instant Quote tool on there. It's fairly accurate. It's not, you know, it's not 100% accurate, but it'll give you guys a good idea of what you're looking for.
Okay.
Okay. Just go right on our website. It says Get Instant Quote. Click that. We're going to call you. I mean, it's just, you know, it's my people are trained. Yeah.
A sales guy's going to call you when you click and say, I want information about this house that's over there on the corner. Oh yeah.
I mean, we're going to call you and, hey, you know, how we want to set something up with you. It's just our process.
Don't try and pull. It wasn't me. I didn't put my info on there.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
We had it developed that it will not let you continue without a good registered email. So we're going to get in touch with you somehow. Okay.
That's funny.
Yep.
Any other questions for Corey? So what I'll do for those of you online, I'll send out another email. I know I put the flyer in the first one for today. I'll send another one out with a big business card and the flyer that's there. Please feel free to reach out to Corey. Corey, you're welcome to stop in the office anytime, drop off some more flyers, business cards. Just please tell Rosa I told you can come upstairs, walk around, say hey to everybody. What I do notice is the people that are here and top of mind get more of the opportunity. So if you're ever driving by and you want to stop in for 5 minutes and just swing through and say, hey, please do. You're more than welcome.
Yep.
If there's no other questions, we've taken up enough time here today with the first meeting and second one. So please, I'm sure Corey will be around for a minute if anybody has any specific type questions for him. So Thank you very much. Have a happy Tuesday.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man. That was very good.